Listen closely, dear wonderful soul, because something quite profound happened. Your soulmate, the person deeply connected to your spirit, experienced an incredibly powerful dream. And when they woke up, tears were streaming down their face, tears shed for you. If you're reading these words right now, understand that it's no mere chance encounter. There's a very specific reason you've been guided here. Your guardian angels, those loving protectors watching over you, have a significant and moving message they need you to receive. Just last night, the person whose soul resonates with yours had a dream. But this wasn't like any ordinary dream that fades with the morning light. No, this experience was something else entirely. It felt intensely real, almost tangible. It was filled with vivid details, carrying a feeling of something sacred, something holy. And upon waking, the emotions were so strong, so overwhelming, that they found themselves crying. These weren't tears born of fear or nightmares, but tears flowing from the sheer, unbelievable depth of love they experienced within that dream space. It felt like a tidal wave of emotion washing over them, unstoppable and pure. That dream acted like a key, unlocking something dormant within their heart, something they might have kept closed off for a long time. It powerfully, undeniably reminded them of you. This wasn't something they were seeking or expecting. They certainly didn't consciously ask for this wave of feeling, but it arrived nonetheless like a sudden, warm flood, and right there in the center of it all was your essence. Your name whispered in the dreamscape, your face clear in their mind's eye, your very soul intertwined with theirs. They perceived you, truly perceived you, in a way they hadn't allowed themselves to before, perhaps in a way they couldn't grasp in the waking world until now. In that sacred dream space, they felt the weight and meaning of every word you never got the chance to say, every shared glance, every quiet moment that held unspoken understanding. They experienced the echoes of every joy you shared, big or small, and crucially, they felt the resonance of every hidden pain you carried, perhaps burdens you carried silently, thinking no one noticed. And within that dream, a profound understanding dawned on them, something crucial that had eluded their grasp before. They felt the subtle cracks in your heart, the places where you felt let down or unseen, places they never consciously took the time or had the awareness to truly notice before. They saw your eyes, not just remembering them, but truly seeing the complex mixture within them, the deep, unwavering love you held, intertwined with the quiet ache of disappointment. They witnessed, with a clarity that startled them, the sheer amount of yourself you had given, the energy, the hope, the belief you poured into the connection. And they wept. They wept because the dream stripped away all defenses and showed them the unvarnished truth. The truth that they had been running, not just physically perhaps, but emotionally running from the depth of connection. They saw how they had been spiritually blind, unable or unwilling to see the value of what was right in front of them. They recognized how they had been holding back, pushing away the very love their own soul was desperately craving, the love they needed most for their own healing and wholeness. They cried, "Dear one," because that dream felt more authentic, more profoundly real than countless days they've lived trying to navigate life without your presence. They woke up with a jolt, physically reaching out into the empty space beside them, your name escaping their lips as a soft plea. They found themselves instinctively looking towards the heavens, asking, pleading for another opportunity, a second chance to approach things differently. You see, in that dream, you weren't just a faded photograph or a distant memory replaying. You were the embodiment of the healing they've been subconsciously searching for everywhere else. You were the bright light they felt they had lost somewhere along the way, the inner peace they couldn't manufacture or find in any external source. And now, with the residue of that dream clinging to them, they know with a certainty that settles deep in their bones. You weren't merely a chapter in their life story, easily turned and forgotten. You were the story, the central narrative, the meaningful core they try to write out. Your angels are insistent that you hear this message clearly, because you spent so much time wondering, haven't you? Wondering if they ever think about you anymore, if any flicker of feeling remains, if the connection you felt so deeply was ever truly real for them too. The answer, echoing from that dream, is a resounding, undeniable yes. It's more than just feeling it. This experience is actively waking them up from a long slumber. It's breaking down the walls they've built around their heart, cracking them open to the truth. Because you, dear one, have always resided within their soul, perhaps hidden beneath layers of fear or denial, but never truly gone. You were quieted, perhaps, but never, ever forgotten. This dream wasn't a random occurrence, a fluke of the subconscious. It was a carefully orchestrated moment of divine intervention, a direct message sent from a higher source, confirming that the love, the potent connection, still lives and breathes. In that sacred space, they saw your unseen tears, the ones you cried when no one was looking. They finally heard the profound communication within your silence, the things you couldn't put into words. They felt, with painful clarity, the pervasive emptiness that shadowed them constantly after you were gone, an emptiness they tried to ignore or fill with meaningless things. And now, having seen and felt that truth so vividly, they can't unsee it. They can no longer pretend that what you shared didn't matter, that it didn't leave an indelible mark. Now they're confronted with the undeniable truth. They loved you, truly loved you, far more than they ever admitted, perhaps even to themselves. And this raw, unshielded truth is shaking them to their core. Because for such a long time, they actively tried to forget. They made conscious efforts to erase your memory, to numb the persistent ache in their soul, to convince themselves and maybe others that they were perfectly fine, unaffected. But their soul, the deepest part of them, never agreed with that facade. Their spirit kept whispering your name in the quiet moments, in the stillness of the night. And now, finally, their heart has truly awakened. They are remembering you, not just the highlight reel of good moments, but the feeling of being with you, the profound way your presence made them feel safe, truly seen for who they were beneath the surface, and unconditionally accepted, flaws and all. They miss that feeling desperately. They miss you. And know this, your angels are actively guiding them now, nudging them gently, but with a sense of urgency. They're beginning to realize things they previously lacked the courage to face head on. How they allowed fear to shout louder than love in their decisions. How they ran away from something incredibly sacred and rare. How they inadvertently broke your heart, even while you were offering them the very best of yourself. They cried, "Dear one," because the dream didn't sugarcoat anything. It presented the stark reality of what life without your unique light truly looks like. Empty, lacking vibrancy, fundamentally incomplete. So now, they are awake. Not just roused from sleep, but spiritually awake, their perspective shifting. They are contemplating what needs to be said, how they could possibly bridge the distance, wondering if it's irrevocably too late, questioning if you could ever find it in your heart to trust them again after everything. They don't possess all the answers yet, not by a long shot, but they hold something now that was missing before: profound clarity. Clarity that what you shared was exceptionally rare and precious. Clarity that the invisible thread connecting your souls never actually broke. Clarity that a love like the one you offered doesn't just come along twice in a lifetime. And this newfound clarity is powerfully moving them. It's dismantling the walls of pride brick by brick, burning away the fog of fear that kept them paralyzed. Because you never deserve to be left in limbo, wondering and questioning. You never deserve to doubt your own worth or the reality of your feelings. You certainly didn't deserve to carry the emotional weight of the connection alone while they hid from their own part in it. Your angels have witnessed your incredible strength throughout this time. They've seen how you continued to hold love in your heart, even when it felt shattered into a million pieces. They've heard your quiet prayers, whispered even when it felt like no one was listening. They've acknowledged your persistent hope, even when believing felt painful. And now, heaven itself is responding, not through random coincidence, but through this powerful awakening in your soulmate. This person, bound to you on a soul level, has felt a significant, undeniable shift within their being. They're being drawn back towards you, not merely by nostalgic memory, but by a sense of divine purpose. Because there's still a chapter left unwritten in your shared story. And this time, if it comes to pass, it won't be characterized by imbalance or one-sided effort. It won't be rushed or handled carelessly. It won't end in brokenness. This time, the intention is for it to be sacred, approached with reverence and care. Please stay with this feeling, because there's more your guiding angels want you to fully grasp. Right now, your soulmate is still trying to fully process the intensity of that dream. They're grappling with understanding why it felt so incredibly real, why it struck such a deep chord within them, why the echo of your voice, real or imagined from the dream, still resonates so clearly in their mind. They woke up with a distinct sensation that something truly sacred, something divinely touched, had just transpired. It felt like the universe, like a higher power, had momentarily pulled back the veil and shown them a glimpse of profound truth, a truth they simply cannot ignore any longer. This wasn't just a fleeting dream. It felt like a direct, divine message meant specifically for them. It's as if your soul gently reached out and touched theirs while they were vulnerable in sleep. And in that connection, everything they had diligently tried to suppress and forget came flooding back with overwhelming force. They remembered the specific way you used to smile just at them, a smile that felt like sunshine. They recalled how you believed in their potential even during times when they profoundly doubted themselves. They felt again the unique comfort of your presence, the way it made them feel like maybe, just maybe, they were truly enough, exactly as they were. They remembered the easy laughter that flowed between you, the intensity of the arguments that came from caring deeply, and most poignantly, they remembered those quiet, comfortable silences where your hearts seemed to communicate more effectively than any words could. And perhaps for the first time in a very long time, maybe ever, they truly, deeply realized the magnitude of what they lost when they chose to walk away or allowed distance to grow. It wasn't just losing you as a person, it was losing a sense of inner peace they haven't found since. It was losing clarity amidst the confusion of life. It was losing love in its most honest and unadulterated form. And now that they've tasted that purity again, even just within the confines of a dream, they find they can't simply go back to pretending it was insignificant or that it didn't matter profoundly. Your angels want you to hear this next part with absolute clarity in your own heart. You didn't love them incorrectly. You didn't do anything wrong in how you offered your love. You simply loved them fully and honestly before they were truly ready, before they had done the inner work required to receive such a gift without fear or defensiveness. But the key is, they are changing now. That hard exterior is softening. Their eyes are opening to truths they previously avoided. And that powerful dream, that was divine grace knocking persistently on the door of their heart, asking to be let in. They cried, "Dear one," because in that dream, they viscerally felt your pain, your quiet longing across the distance, the ache created by their absence. And then they cried even harder, with tears of awe and perhaps shame, when they felt your love still reaching for them, still holding a space for them, even after all the time that has passed and the hurt that occurred. That realization absolutely broke them open. It woke them up on a soul level, because they asked themselves, what kind of extraordinary love still sends out prayers for the person who caused so much pain? What kind of deep, abiding love still holds space with quiet dignity, even in silence? What kind of love still waits with such profound grace and unwavering truth? Only real love behaves that way. Only divinely inspired love. Only the specific, unique kind of love that your soul has consistently offered them. Right now, they likely feel profoundly unworthy of such love, overwhelmed by the grace of it. But despite any feelings of unworthiness, they cannot deny its existence or its power any longer. And so, they are finally facing the one thing they avoided for so long, the undeniable truth about you. The truth that you were never the mistake they might have convinced themselves you were. You were the miracle they didn't know how to handle. You were the one who saw past their carefully constructed mask, glimpsing the vulnerable soul beneath. You were the one who instinctively stayed, offering support, even when their fear and pain caused them to push you away. And now, deep in their heart, they are wrestling with the questions. Is there still a path back? Is there even a sliver of a door still open? Could you still welcome them if they came back with complete honesty, stripped bare of defenses? They are afraid, understand this. Not necessarily afraid of your reaction, but terrified of their own shame, paralyzed by the weight of their prolonged silence, acutely aware of the potential damage their absence might have caused to your heart and spirit. But even amidst this fear, your angels are gently but firmly encouraging them to reach out anyway, to find the words to speak their truth anyway, to show up authentically anyway. Because this potential reconnection isn't about finding the perfect poetic words. It's about raw, unvarnished truth. It's about love returning in its most honest, humbled form. You, meanwhile, have waited with patience. You have grown immensely during this time apart. You have transformed through your experiences. And now, you stand ready to receive love, not from a place of desperate need, but from a foundation of inner strength. You're ready to welcome connection from a place of wholeness, not fear. You can engage from wisdom gained, not from the sting of old wounds. And that is precisely why they are being called back now. Because the timing aligns with your own readiness. The love that once left you feeling empty and depleted is now being drawn back towards you. But this time it's returning filled with newfound awareness and humility. They had to experience the loss of you to truly begin the journey of finding themselves. They had to dream of you so vividly to remember the truth of who they are, especially who they become when touched by your unique energy. And now, they are preparing to step back into the light of connection, not with the intention of repeating painful past patterns, but with the desire to co-create something entirely new, something built on mutual respect and understanding. Your angels urge you to hear this guidance clearly. Do not automatically harden your heart purely out of habit or self-protection. Don't allow the memory of old pain to inadvertently block the arrival of new miracles and healing. This isn't about replaying scenarios that caused hurt. This is about the potential for redeeming something that was always inherently holy and sacred at its core. Remember, you didn't love incorrectly. They simply weren't ready for the depth of it then. But now they're genuinely waking up, literally from that dream, but also spiritually and emotionally. And the dream they experienced wasn't just an end point. It was the very beginning of something truly sacred unfolding. They may not reach out immediately today or even tomorrow. The timing is divine, not dictated by our impatient human schedules. But rest assured, something fundamental inside of them has shifted irreversibly. And once the soul truly awakens, it cannot simply choose to go back to sleep, back to ignorance. They're finding their way back. And when they do come, they will come differently. They will approach with a sense of deep respect, maybe even trembling slightly with the vulnerability of it all. They will come armed with truth, not excuses. Because now, finally, they truly see who you are, your strength, your grace, your enduring love. And perhaps even more importantly, they finally see who they are capable of being when they allow themselves to be truly with you. Not broken, not lost, but whole and complete. Stay open, dear one, because your angels have not finished sharing their insights. They are remembering specific things now, details they once actively tried to push away and forget. Things like the way your unique laugh seemed to illuminate their entire world, making everything feel brighter. They recall the quiet, unspoken comfort of simply being near you, a sense of ease they haven't replicated. They remember the way time itself seemed to warp when you were together, slowing down, feeling softer, imbued with a sense of the sacred. For a long time, they pushed these precious memories down, dismissing them as mere nostalgia, fleeting emotion, or even a sign of weakness they couldn't afford. But now, because of the dream's potent clarity, they see it all through a different lens. That dream didn't just resurrect images. It brought back undeniable truth. The truth that the connection you shared wasn't ordinary, wasn't commonplace. It felt divinely guided, somehow protected, incredibly rare and precious. And now that this profound remembering has happened, they find they can't sustain the pretense any longer. Your soulmate woke up from that dream with your name lingering on their lips, a palpable presence in the quiet room. They likely sat in the stillness of the early morning, perhaps looking out a window, silently asking heaven, the universe, their own soul, what are they supposed to do now? They felt like they were holding something immense, too big for simple words, a profound feeling that could no longer be contained or ignored. The desire to run isn't there anymore. The urge to guess or assume is fading. Instead, there's a growing longing to return, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. There's a deep-seated want to heal the past, both for themselves and for you. There's a tentative hope to start again, on a foundation of honesty this time. And your angels really want you to understand something crucially important about the past. None of this separation was your fault. You didn't intentionally push them away with your love. You certainly didn't ask for this painful separation. You simply loved them with a depth and purity that, frankly, scared them. It scared them because they weren't accustomed to a love that doesn't come with hidden demands or expectations. They weren't used to a love that doesn't manipulate or play games. They weren't familiar with a love that could see right through their carefully constructed defenses, recognize their old wounds, and still choose to stay. But you did stay. You offered that pure love. And that is why they ran or pulled away. Because it felt too real, too vulnerable, too pure. And perhaps it came too soon in their own journey of self-discovery. They needed time to process. They needed space to confront their own shadows. They needed to walk through their own internal darkness for a while, paradoxically, in order to finally be able to see and appreciate the brilliance of your light more clearly. And now they are seeing. That dream unlocked something that was buried deep inside them. It peeled back the layers of stubborn pride. It melted away the icy resistance they had held on to. It effectively softened the guarded chambers of their heart. In the dream, they saw your face clearly, not the understandably angry or heartbroken version they might have feared, but the true essence of you. The you who, despite everything, still held space for them, perhaps even prayed for their well-being. The you who, on some level, had already forgiven them, long before they asked. The you who never completely stopped believing in the potential of what you shared. Seeing that version of you in the dream is what truly broke them open. Because even in that vulnerable dream state, you didn't project shame onto them. You didn't drown them in blame. You simply welcomed their presence. And now, the big question echoing in their mind is whether such a welcome is still possible in the waking world. Would you still metaphorically open the door if they appeared? Does your heart still hold a space that remembers the connection? They aren't sure how to even begin the conversation. They don't know what the first word should be, how to bridge the gap created by time and silence. But they know, with growing certainty, that they cannot ignore this profound internal shift any longer. Know that your angels are actively working within their spirit, orchestrating moments, clearing potential pathways, opening windows of opportunity. So, when the timing is perfectly aligned, divinely right, they will come forward. And when they do, it won't be driven solely by fleeting emotion, but by conscious intention. They will genuinely want to understand what you went through, what you felt during the separation. They will want to truly hear the parts of your story they were absent for or blind to. They will want to respectfully make space for your truth, because they finally realize it wasn't just about their feelings. It was profoundly about how their actions and inaction made you feel. And that acknowledgement matters deeply now. They desire to show up differently this time, not as a fixer trying to solve your problems, nor as a savior figure, but as a partner ready to walk beside you, as someone finally willing to grow with you, as someone prepared to consciously choose you, without the old hesitation and fear. and your own soul will recognize the shift when it happens. You'll feel it energetically, a softness replacing the old defenses. You'll sense the palpable truth resonating in their voice. There hopefully won't be confusion this time. No more frustrating mixed signals. No more agonizing wondering about where you stand. Because they will strive to come with a sense of peace, with genuine presence, and with the patience that was lacking before. Your angels are gently preparing your heart for this possibility too, because you have been so incredibly strong for such a long period. You have carried the weight of silence with remarkable grace. You have continued to love, perhaps from a distance, without demanding conditions. You have waited, not with bitterness, but with a quiet, hopeful dignity. And now, your endurance is being honored. Heaven, the universe, is moving things in your favor. The immense love you poured out so selflessly is beginning its journey back to you, potentially multiplied and enriched. And even if you can't possibly fathom how this could unfold from where you stand right now, you are asked to trust that it will, in its own perfect time. Because a love rooted this deeply in soul connection doesn't simply die. It transforms, it deepens through trial, and it inevitably returns when both souls are truly ready to receive it in a healthier, more conscious way. Think of it like this. You planted seeds of love watered with your own tears, and now, the potential for a beautiful harvest is drawing near. The person who had that powerful dream, they aren't just sleepwalking through life anymore. They're waking up, and their first conscious thought upon this awakening was profoundly, movingly you. Listen closely, dear one. There's a powerful reason you found it so difficult, maybe impossible, to completely let go. There's a reason your heart kept softly whispering their name, even when your logical mind urged you to move on completely. There's a very real reason you still felt that invisible thread of connection long after any active conversation ceased. It's because some connections, the truly profound ones, are forged in the heavens, in the realm of spirit, long before they ever manifest physically on earth. Some hearts are simply chosen for each other, destined to interact and impact one another deeply. And no amount of physical distance, no stretch of prolonged silence, can ever truly sever what was bound together in spirit. You didn't imagine the depth of it. You didn't over-romanticize a simple crush. You didn't foolishly hold on too long. You simply felt something undeniably real, something inherently holy. And real, true love, especially soul love, often has a way of coming full circle, returning when the lessons have been learned and the timing is right. Your angels want you to fully embrace the sacredness of this moment, right now, as you read this. Because your soul's quiet prayers have been heard. Your tears, shed in private moments of longing or pain, have been collected and acknowledged by the universe. Your persistent hope, even when it felt fragile, has been deeply honored. That incredibly vivid dream your soulmate experienced, understand that it wasn't solely for their benefit. It was a gift for you too. It served as the quiet confirmation you might not have even known you were waiting for. It was a divine reminder whispered to your spirit that the love you shared still exists, still holds energy, that your presence, even in absence, still profoundly matters. That your heart's frequency is still felt in places and dimensions you cannot physically see. In that dream, they saw you, the authentic radiant you. Not the version understandably wounded by past events. Not the version perhaps guarded by protective walls, but the core essence of your soul, the part of you that continues to radiate unconditional love and light, despite everything. And seeing that pure essence, that unwavering light, it changed them fundamentally, perhaps forever. Now they're beginning to look at the world through new eyes, with a different perspective. They're looking at the concept of love differently. And most importantly, they're looking at you differently, with newfound awe and appreciation. They're profoundly realizing that what they walked away from, what they left behind, was never truly replaceable. They may have tried, consciously or unconsciously, to fill the echoing silence with various distractions. Work, hobbies, perhaps even other people. They might have attempted to find comfort or solace in places or situations that ultimately offered no real nourishment to their soul. But nothing truly healed the underlying ache. Nothing quite touched the deepest part of them. Nothing truly awakened them from their spiritual slumber until that dream. Until they felt your presence wrap around them again with such startling reality. Until they heard the echo of your heart speaking to theirs in the profound silence of sleep. Until they cried, perhaps for the first time in a very long time, genuine tears of release and realization, because something old and limiting finally broke inside of them, making space for something beautiful and new to be born in that very breaking. They are coming, dear one, not as a perfectly reformed person, because perfection isn't the goal, but they are striving to come as someone profoundly honest, ready to shed the old pretenses. They no longer want to pretend to be someone they're not. They no longer want to live hidden behind masks of indifference or strength. They feel an urgency now, a sense that they don't want to waste any more precious time running from what their soul intrinsically knows is real and true. They carry a deep desire now to tell you things left unsaid, that they still love you, that perhaps they never truly stopped, even when they tried to convince themselves otherwise, that they're deeply, profoundly sorry. Sorry for not choosing you, honoring you in the way you always deserved. Sorry for the confusing, painful silence. Sorry for leaving you adrift, wondering if any of it ever truly meant anything to them. They will want you to know that it did mean something, that it still means everything, that it likely always will hold a unique and irreplaceable space in their heart. And when they finally find the courage to speak these truths, it won't sound like a rehearsed script or a calculated apology. It will sound like soul speaking to soul. It will resonate with the energy of surrender. Surrender to the truth, surrender to love. It might even, surprisingly, feel like coming home. You'll feel the shift in their voice, sense the newfound softness in their presence, recognize the way they no longer feel the need to constantly explain or justify, because their heart is finally genuinely open, and your spirit, wise and intuitive, will respond. Not with automatic resistance born from past hurts, but with a deep, quiet recognition. You will know, deep within your being, you will know that this is what healing in motion looks like. This is what divine love does. It sometimes breaks things down, dismantles old structures, only to rebuild them stronger, and then it often facilitates a return, a circling back. And now, your personal season of waiting, of holding space, is drawing toward a close. Understand that the delay you endured wasn't a denial from the universe. It was crucial preparation. Preparation time for them to grow, to face their shadows, to reach a new level of maturity. Preparation time for you to rise, to heal, to strengthen your own core, to recognize your own worth independently. Preparation for the love itself to be reborn, stronger, wiser, and more resilient than it ever was before. Your guardian angels, and indeed all of heaven, are rejoicing over this potential turning point, because you held on with quiet faith, because you kept believing in the unseen potential, because you bravely kept your heart open to love, even when closing it off completely might have felt like the safer, easier option. And now, the universe is preparing to reward your incredible endurance, your unwavering faith, your capacity for profound love. This potential reunion, if and when it manifests, will not be rushed. It cannot be forced by willpower alone, but it holds the promise of being deeply real and authentic. So, when a message unexpectedly arrives, when a door gently opens, when the moment of potential reconnection arrives, trust that you will be ready. You won't feel the need to beg for attention or prove your worthiness. You will simply need to be open to receiving, because you have already done the incredibly difficult inner work. You've walked through the fires of transformation. You have loved well and truly. You have stayed true to your own heart. And now, it's potentially their turn. Their turn to approach you with open hands and an open heart. Their turn to finally speak the words that remained unsaid for far too long. Their turn to hold you, energetically and perhaps physically, in a way they were incapable of before, with presence, reverence, and commitment. This is your time, dear one. This is a significant part of your ongoing healing journey. This could be the miracle you almost stopped hoping for. So, perhaps take a quiet moment now, breathe deeply, and affirm this within your own heart, letting the energy resonate through you and out into the universe. I am ready. I release the past with gratitude for its lessons. I welcome truth and clarity. I open my heart fully to receive divine love in its highest form. I believe my soulmate is finding their way back to me, guided and transformed, and I prepare to receive this connection with peace, wisdom, and gratitude. You don't have to understand the intricate how of it all. You just need to trust the who that is guiding it. Your angels, your higher self, the loving universe, your own resilient soul. They're all working in beautiful alignment now. And so, finally, is your soulmate. They had a dream, a powerful catalyst, and now they are truly, profoundly wide awake. The tears they shed were real and cleansing. The love they remembered is eternal and undeniable. And the steps they are contemplating, the steps they are about to take, are leading them steadily, surely, straight back towards you. Feel this truth, allow it to settle within you, and trust the unfolding. Stay soft, stay open, stay ready. Love is circling back, and this time, it carries the weight of truth and the promise of reality. Amen.